I refer to Miss Virginia Mayo. Also appearing on our program today is the syndicated columnist, Mr. Lee Graham. And now, here's your host, the man of the half hour, Skip E. Lowe.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Looking at Hollywood. Today we have a very interesting Hollywood talk show for you. We have one of Hollywood's most glamorous and beautiful young ladies, and she is a star, a true legendary star, Miss Virginia Mayo. Hello, Virginia. How are you, darling?
Hello, Skip. How are you?
God, you look great.
Thank you.
You look wonderful. Tell me something. You started as a dancer.
Yes, I did.
And that's way back in New York at Diamond Horse Show, was it?
Well, I didn't start there. I started in my hometown as a dancer, taking instructions.
In your hometown? Where is that?
St. Louis, Missouri.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
And then I joined the Muni Opera in St. Louis, which was the first thing I did professionally, after studying for 5 or 6 years.
Uh-huh.
And then I went to New York. First I joined an act.
Uh-huh.
Which
a horse
act. They saw me in St. Louis, and they wanted me to join their act, so I did, and toured the country with this horse act, and we got into many shows in New York, and finally we landed in Billy Rose's Diamond Horseshoe, where Billy Rose really showcased me so good that I got a lot of offers for Hollywood.
And that's where Samuel Goldwyn discovered you, really.
Samuel Goldwyn came down to the nightclub, and then he wanted to see me in his office the next day. Which of course I did.
Right.
I was very excited about meeting the great Samuel Goldwyn.
At that time, right.
So I went to see him, and he screen tested me and signed me to a 7-year contract.
Was your name Virginia Mayo then?
Yes.
It was, always Virginia Mayo. Huh? I see. And he signed you to a 7-year contract?
Yes.
I see.
Which I did 5 years with Samuel Goldwyn, doing some wonderful pictures. I mean, they were all fabulous, because Goldwyn would never do a picture unless he did it exactly right. Many times he would do retakes or even tear down a set that he didn't care for, because he was a perfectionist.
He was?
Oh, yes.
That's the kind of man he really was?
Well, yes, he was really that way. And he wanted the best on the screen for the public.
He wasn't just tough for his entertainers or his actors.
Oh, no.
He wanted the best for them.
He wanted perfection on that screen, and by golly, he got it. Most of the time, he got it. I did so many great pictures for Goldwyn in my
What was your first one?
The Goldwyn picture?
Yes,
The Princess and the Pirate was my first.
Who was in that?
Bob Hope.
Bob Hope, I see.
Yeah, Bob Hope, and it was wonderful for a newcomer to get a great role like that.
Right.
That's most girls were not as lucky as I. But I want to tell you this: I went on the road for 4.5 years working hard because I didn't want to be discovered sitting somewhere I had to be discovered in action. In other words, you know what I mean? Because that's when I knew that I could do my best, and they could see that I had talent by me being active, doing something when a scout saw me or whatever.
I see. And what was your second film, Virginia?
Wonder Man opposite Danny Kaye.
Wonder Man with Danny Kaye was one of my favorite movies. I love that. That was a Samuel Goldwyn one. I thought that was a Columbia movie. I don't know why.
No, all Danny Kaye's films were made by
Goldwyn.
Really?
Goldwyn? I didn't know. I don't know why I got Columbia mixed up.
After Princess and the Pirate, I did Wonder Man, Kid from Brooklyn, Secret Life of Walter Mitty, and last was A Song is Born.
Kid from Brooklyn was with Red Skelton, was that? Or who was that?
Danny Kaye. All those I just mentioned.
Was that all Danny Kaye's films?
Yes.
You've been in how many Danny Kaye's movies?
4.
4. What kind of man Danny Kaye was? He's such a great talent.
Well, Danny was a little moody. He was always had Sylvia,
his wife.
His wife, Sylvia Fine, who was the creator of all his material, and she was constantly providing him with this material. And Danny seemed to be not happy a lot of the time.
He wasn't happy.
Didn't seem like to me. He was moody, But I just loved Danny. I've always loved him.
And then you moved to, didn't you move to Warner Brothers?
After 5 years with Goldwyn, I moved to Warner Brothers, and I stayed there 10 wonderful years.
10 years at Warner. What kind of man was Frank Warner? Jack Warner.
Jack Warner?
Yeah, right. What kind of man was Jack?
He was a bon vivant.
Was he?
Loved life and loved his success, and he would go to France every year and gamble at Cannes.
Did he like
He had a house there. He had a marvelous gorgeous house in Beverly Hills, which I attended his parties almost every Saturday night.
Hollywood parties.
Hollywood parties, and they were just fabulous. Of course, Jack Warner was, he loved to make jokes. He would make everybody get up after dinner and make a statement, some kind of a joke. And
Someone had to get up.
Yes, they'd make you get up and say it, do an act.
Right.
But Jack Warner was full of fun. And
What was your second film at Warner Brothers? James Cagney, wasn't it? Something with James?
White Heat,
White Heat
was one of my first ones.
Great movie.
No, closer to the beginning than that was The Girl from Jones Beach, opposite to
right.
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan, right. You did with Ronald Reagan, huh?
I did another one with him, did two with him.
Really? What kind of man was Ronald Reagan at that time in Hollywood? I mean, in Hollywood. Today we know that Ronald Reagan really liked.
Is still Mr. Nice Guy.
Is he?
Absolutely.
You find Ronald Reagan a great president, Virginia? Be honest.
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
You find him as a great president?
Yes.
I see. Okay, I won't touch that. But
No, we better not.
but I do know that my favorite movie you did was with James Cagney, The White Heat.
White Heat.
That's a great movie. What year was that in Virginia?
1949.
49 was it? Was it? No, yeah, it was 49. That was a great movie. You did a lot of films at Warner Brothers. How many did you do with James Cagney?
Two.
Two? What other was that with James?
West Point Story.
West Point.
It was a musical.
Yeah.
Did in 1950.
Yes, and you also worked with Paul Newman, another great actor.
Well, when Paul came from New York, he was brought by the studio, and I was already set to play the lead in The Silver Chalice.
Chalice, right.
Well, they brought this young fella in and said, would you make a test with this man? And I said, sure, I'd be happy to. So we did a test.
So you made a test with Paul Newman.
Did the test with Paul, and it was his very first time, and he was a little, awkward. Well, they said, we'd like to do another test with Paul, but would you work with a coach with him? Because he needed something, and we worked together with the coach, came back and did another test, and then they said, this is the one. We want him for the lead.
Paul Newman.
So then he did the lead in the picture. And that was his first picture. Opposite me.
Started with you, right. Best years of our lives. Now tell me about that.
Well, that was a golden picture.
That was a golden picture, right.
That was way back in the
That was
47.
That was Academy Award.
It won 9 Oscars.
It did. It was a great motion picture. You were wonderful. That was back in 1946, was it, you say?
47.
47? Back to your musicals. How many musicals did you do in here in Hollywood?
Well, not including the Danny Kaye pictures,
Right.
where they were comedies, but I didn't do any, you could call them musical comedies, but I didn't perform in them or anything. My musical career really started at Warner Brothers when I got there, because I told them I wanted to dance. And
So
picture.
actually, Samuel Golden was comedy mostly.
That's right.
Yeah, I see. But James Cagney and all those wonderful movies back in Warner Brothers, that were musicals then.
I did about 6 musicals at Warner's. Danced with Gene Nelson most of the time.
What do you think of Hollywood today, Virginia? I mean,
Well,
what do you think of our young performers today, first of all?
oh, they're excellent. They're wonderful. There's so much competition. I mean, they just have to fight to get roles, and they do anything, to further their careers. I don't like that. I certainly don't.
But do you think we have any good writers out there, though? See, that's...
I think we lack good writers.
We do lack.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need some good writers, because that's the backbone of the industry.
Right.
Good stories.
Because when you grew up in the business,
They had stories.
They had stories. They don't have it today, do they?
No, not often.
Like the Crawfords and the Davises and stuff. Not really a good movie.
Well, they have movies that are different,
Space. Everything is space and...
So, well, my big fault with the movies these days is that you can't hardly see them. They're so dark and so badly lit. And I don't know, I keep telling that to everyone I meet. Do you find that so? And they haven't even thought about it. But some people do concur that that is the problem with a lot of movies, that they're not well lit.
How about television? What do you think of TV today?
Marvelous.
You do like
It's marvelous.
the stories and...
The stories are interesting. The photography is excellent, because they realize that when their people are looking at their television set, they may have a bad set and it doesn't work well, and they're at least going to try to get it in focus and well photographed before they put it on on the tube.
TV right now. You just got through doing a thing on Santa Barbara.
Yes, I did a soap opera called Santa Barbara, which I enjoyed thoroughly. It's on every day at 2 o'clock on Channel 4.
You're playing the fan.
I was playing a wonderful part, an ex-fan dancer.
Ex-fan dancer, Virginia Mayo. I think that's great, Virginia.
It was fun.
Was it fun?
Mm-hmm.
When is it on? Every day?
Well, it's on every day, but I'm through with it.
Are you?
Yes.
Where are you from originally, you say?
St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis, Missouri. I see. I thought you were from New York. I don't know why I thought you were from New York. Did you do a Broadway show at all? Did you ever do a Broadway show?
A show called Banjo Eyes.
Oh, you did a Broadway show?
Yes.
Banjo Eyes. That was with who? Was that an
Eddie Cantor was the star.
Eddie Cantor. Good God, Virginia. That's a
way
long
back.
time ago. Good. How do you keep in shape? You look wonderful. How do you keep in shape?
I don't think I'm in shape.
I do. I think
Well,
you look
thank you.
wonderful.
Well,
You look
I know I'm
absolutely-
not.
You look absolutely wonderful,
Well,
Virginia.
thank you very much.
You know, I have a young man I'm going to bring to the stage now. I'd like you to meet him. He's one of the Hollywood's columnists. He has a Hollywood magazine. It's called Studio Magazine here. And he writes all the wonderful columns around Hollywood and around his syndicated columnists. And his name is Lee Graham.
I know Lee
You know
Graham
Lee?
very
We're going to
well.
bring him on right now. Hello, Lee. Come on in. How are you? You know Virginia.
Indeed I do.
I did know that. How are you, Lee?
Fine.
Good God. What does this mean, Hollywood Studio Magazine? I'm going to show the people. What does that actually mean?
Well, this magazine is actually dedicated to the heritage of movies. And we run pictures and stories on the stars of yesteryear who are really legends.
Ah, I see.
We don't have the newcomers.
Newcomers. It's
There's no
all
Adrienne Barbeau on the
yesteryear.
cover.
I see. Beautiful. This is great. Judy Garland, I see you have her in here too, and John Wayne. And also you write for, what other papers do you write for?
Well, I'm in a chain of Valley papers, which are the Herald community newspapers. They go throughout San Fernando Valley.
Right.
And then I'm also in Las Vegas, Palm Springs, and throughout, I'm in another paper.
Is your paper, it's not gossip, is it? It's not like...
No, it's more the social life. They refer to me as Men
yeah.
About Town. I
What
come
do you
to
think
parties.
What do you think of the gossips columns talking about Hollywood stars, Virginia? Now, what do you think? You think
I
that's-
eat it up.
You do like
I
it?
love it.
Do you really?
May not be true, but it's
But
fun to read.
It is fun to read. What do you think about that?
Well,
You don't do gossip work. Now, what do you think about
not
it?
usually.
Yeah, right. What do you
I
think
used
about it?
to.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, well, then I was evil, because what I didn't know I made up, and what I did know I added to.
You have to be evil to write a gossip? You have to be a little bitchy to write a gossip,
You have to
right?
get just a little bit catty.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I think so.
Bitchy, as you say.
Right, right. And where are you from originally?
From Texas.
From Texas. You don't have that Texas accent. Good God.
That's because I wanted to be an actor, so after I got out of the Navy, I came here.
Lee Graham, you wanted to be an actor
I wanted
here?
to be an actor. In talkies.
Really? You came out to Hollywood what year?
That was when I got out of the Navy. That would have been 46.
46, I see. You came out here to be an actor. Did you do any films at all where you were?
Well, I did bit parts. In fact, I did a bit part in one of Virginia's films, The Secret
Really?
Life of Walter Mitty.
Ah, did you really? How nice. That's it.
And she doesn't remember it, but I met her on the set.
Uh-huh,
She was in a harem costume.
uh-huh. That was a great movie. That was
Wonderful
funny.
movie.
What part did you do? You know?
I only did a bit in the background.
Uh-huh.
Danny Kaye did one of his numbers. I worked a long time because it took so long to shoot it.
Uh-huh. So what do you think of the young Hollywood people today, Lee? You've been around here for a long time. What do you
Been
think?
around a long time, yeah.
Right. What do you think of the...
Well, it doesn't seem like it used to be. I'm more impressed with the real stars, the durable stars.
That's what your magazine is really all
Perennials,
about.
that's what it's
isn't it?
all about.
And where do people get this? This a
Yes, it's a
national?
national
It is
publication.
national.
It's on sale at most of the newsstands.
Hollywood Studio Magazine.
Studio
It's
Magazine,
a
that's
great
right.
magazine. It's really great. And so tell me more about your column, the Palm Spring thing. Where do you get all your dirt, really?
Well, I go out a great deal, and frequently I'm lucky enough to have Virginia on my arm.
You go out together, huh?
Yes.
Yeah. And where you go, you people? Like La Cage aux Folles to get all the dirt, where all the other stars go, or what?
Well, we've been there.
Uh-huh.
We've been, we just go to parties and showings. We even went on a trip for the film festival last year in the Philippines. The
Oh, you
guest
did?
President, Mrs. Marcos.
Uh-huh. What kind of woman was Marcus? I met her, How kind of woman was she?
She was charming to
Was
us.
she?
Yeah,
Did
she
you
was
meet
lovely.
Miss Marcus? Did you?
Yes.
Because I did the
Well,
bases
sounds
out there. I did the Philippine base. Did you ever work military shows?
No.
Never did shows for military, USOs or anything like Bob Hope's?
Nope.
Never gone on that. Virginia Mail, I would think you would have gone with Bob on
Well, the war
some
was
of-
practically over by the time I worked with Bob.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I see. Did you do any Bob Hope shows or
No.
the... Because I know you do a club act, don't you, or something like that?
No.
You're just an actor.
Well, at the time, I was an actor.
I
And
see.
I got out of that for only 2 weeks. There was a columnist named Rubina Wright. Do you remember her?
Yes, I do.
And
yes,
I met
very well.
Rubina at a party, and she said that her assistant was going on vacation. Would I like to do it for 2 weeks? And I said, fine, but I can't give up my career, so I'll do it for 2 weeks. Technically, I was her leg man, but she thought that sounded sexy, so she could only refer to me as her assistant.
Ah, I see.
And her assistant never came back, so 9 years later, even when she died, I was still her leg man. And from there, I got my own columns.
I see. That's how you got it.
Well, the background helped me.
I
She
see.
told me she was leaving it to me in her will, but they didn't go along with that. The Hearst people didn't.
Do your columns go to New York also?
No.
Just
Only
just
this magazine
magazines.
does,
I see. What would you tell the young actors today how to prepare themselves, Virginia, when they come to Hollywood today?
Well, it's so hard to tell them what to do.
It is hard to tell them what to do, but
Mainly,
yeah.
they should study diction and study voice.
Yeah, but don't you think they should really have that determination first? They got to have that
Yes.
determination.
Well, that goes without saying.
Yeah, right.
That they should, but they should know something about acting or how their presence. That's my fault with the young people today. They don't speak clearly. You can't understand what they're saying.
They don't. Yeah, that's
you know,
true.
when you go to a movie or a theater, it's hard to
You
understand.
just did a play, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yes. What was it?
It was called Dear Jenny,
Uh-huh.
and it was on Cannon Drive in the
In
LA
Beverly Hills.
Stage Company West
Uh-huh,
theater there.
I didn't see it. When was that? Just recently, or was it?
It was in February.
I see. How did you feel about doing plays? You like doing the shows, live
Oh,
theater?
I've done a lot of
You have done a lot of plays,
In the
have you?
past 15 years, I've done
Summer-
dozens
Did
of
you
them.
really? Didn't know
Yes.
that. That's wonderful. I didn't know that. What's Virginia Mayo doing now? What is she doing now? What is she preparing to do?
I'm preparing a script for Remington Steele, a television series that's on.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be doing that starting the 18th of this month, and filming that. I just finished a bit on a star role on Murder, She Wrote, with Angela Lansbury, which was fun. So
Virginia,
I'm-
you seem kind of happy. Are you happy?
Yeah, I'm a very happy
Are you?
person.
You seem
I
very
always
happy.
have been.
You
Very
don't-
optimistic.
Do you smoke or drink or
No.
You don't smoke
I
or drink?
drink
You drink a little, but you don't smoke.
No.
Because you look wonderful. You have Virginia's noted for that skin, that beautiful skin. How do you keep that skin, that peaches cream skin? Virginia Mayo, always noted for that beautiful skin. Must be in your family, is that?
I think it is. Yeah, my mother had beautiful skin.
Uh-huh. So Virginia Mayo, may I ask you a question?
Yes.
Is there a man in your life right now?
Mr. Graham.
Oh, is it? Oh, is he your man in your life? Okay.
Yes.
You won't tell, right? At the moment, or is he?
Other than that,
Mr. Graham? Oh, you're seeing each other. I see.
Yes,
How wonderful.
a great deal.
Oh, great. So you go out together. I see.
Yes, indeed.
we go to all the Hollywood parties.
What do you think of the Hollywood parties today, Virginia? I mean,
Well-
they have changed a little. What do you think today?
I tell you, I've never been to a wild Hollywood party. And in my life, maybe one that was a little,
What do you mean by wild? You
like
mean-
they do things like take their clothes off.
Oh, I see what you mean. Now,
Get
what you're
all-
talking about now.
Yes,
Yeah,
those
I
kind
see.
of parties.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
sure they exist, but
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
I've never been to them. Have
You
you?
have
No,
you
they have
have
orgies, I'm not invited.
Hugh Hefner does that every Saturday, dear. That's Hugh
Does he?
Hefner. Yes, that's Hugh Hefner. He invites all the girls. No men go to there, just all women. That's Hugh Hefner's party every Saturday. That is his big thing here in Hollywood. He's noted for that. You didn't know that, Virginia?
No, I didn't.
Oh, yes. Well, that's Hugh
Well, why
Hefner's
doesn't he
thing.
have any men come in?
Oh, he has men coming there, but the girls can't bring a man. The men are invited, but the girls
Oh, how
have to come by
tacky.
themselves. Did you know that? You knew that, didn't you?
No, I did not know that. I've been to Hugh Hefner's, but
At these parties
no,
on
not
Saturday
that kind of
nights.
party. No,
Yes,
no.
yes. And at Saturday night parties at Hugh Hefner's, the girls cannot bring men there. They are only to bring other girlfriends.
And the men have to come along
And the
also.
men bring themselves. Yes, that's
And
correct.
he likes
He's
to
invited.
watch the matchup. Is that what he does?
Evidently, I don't know. There's a man who wrote a book right now. I think it's going to be out, and I think it's out now. Anyway, getting back Virginia Mayo, I want to say that Hollywood, you're one of the glamorous ladies in Hollywood,
Well, thank you.
and thinking of Hollywood today, what do you think of Hollywood today, of Hollywood Boulevard, the seasons of Hollywood? Don't you think it's deteriorated? What do you think?
Hollywood Boulevard, yes, definitely.
It used to be very nice,
Deteriorated.
didn't it?
It used to be very nice. I even went shopping on Hollywood Boulevard.
People did.
But not anymore.
Movie stars did go shopping on Hollywood Boulevard years ago, didn't they? But they just don't go there. How come? Why don't the city take care of that boulevard? Why don't they do something about that?
I
Lee, you're a
suppose
writer.
it's-
You're a columnist. Why don't they do something about that?
Well, it's up to the
merchants,
Chamber
I
of
suppose.
Commerce, I think.
Yes, the
Has to
Chamber
do
of
something.
Commerce would have to do it, plus the merchants would have to kick
Right.
in a fee, and then they'd get the boulevard fixed up.
Uh-huh.
And it's just been infiltrated by, I think, people who are on drugs, young runaway kids. It's not like it used to be.
Virginia, do we have any good directors held here today? Like, you know.
I don't know, because I haven't done any movies in ages.
True.
You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I can't really tell.
So you don't know, really, basically, no. But you, because you grew up with great directors, great
Yes, I had
studio
many, many
directors.
good directors.
You were under stock contract or just a contract, a studio contract? You weren't under studio contract.
Studio
There-
contract.
Yeah, because at the time they had stock players. Is that how they had?
Well, I wasn't a
like,
stock
You weren't a
player.
stock player. No, no.
I don't think
But
Owen had stock players.
No, he didn't.
He didn't have no. 20th Century had stock
They
players.
had stock players.
Yeah,
So
Barbara
did the-
Lawrence was a stock player, right?
They did at Warner's too, but when I came to Warner Brothers, I had already been established as a star.
Right, exactly.
And Jack Warner, the first thing he ever said to me was, "I've seen you in the movies."
Is that what he said? What was Betty Davis like? Did you ever meet Betty Davis?
She's very professional, you know.
Uh-huh.
She was rather hard to know because she
was?
was very much herself, you know. I didn't really know her.
You did. How about James Cagney, though? I must know. He's one of
Well,
my
I
idols.
did work with him, of
James
course.
Cagney, right. What kind of man was James Cagney of Virginia?
Very professional. He'd come on the set and do his work, very good, very inspiring, you know.
Right, right.
And then he would confer with the director a lot about things,
Uh-huh.
things he wanted to add to and things he wanted to possibly change.
Mhm.
And the director always listened to Jimmy because he had such good ideas.
Oh, the director did listen to him.
Oh, yes.
I see.
And, of course, he was dynamic. You can't argue with the fact that he was a powerhouse on the screen.
Yes, he was.
Jimmy was magnetic. I mean, many a scene I did with him was improved because of his presence. You know, being Cagney.
Right,
He was
exactly.
such a great actor.
Yeah. But tell me something. You ever see him? Do you ever?
Yes, I saw him. He was here in town, a year and a half ago, maybe. And I saw him then.
You did
Spoke
see
to
him. You see your old friends again, like Dana Andrews. You did a movie
I've
with
seen-
Dana, didn't you?
Uh-huh.
Which one was that?
Best years of our lives.
Best Years of Our Lives. What kind of man was Dana Andrews?
A wonderful
Yes,
person.
Dana.
He was so helpful to me in my
Is he?
early days.
Uh-huh.
He would help me study scenes
Uh-huh.
and work with the dramatic coach on the lot.
Oh, he did.
Oh, yes, he helped me so much.
Uh-huh.
That's why when I was asked to help Paul Newman,
Uh-huh.
I said, this is it. I've got to help somebody else because I was helped by a good actor.
Mhm.
So that's how come I
Do you ever see
decided-
Paul Newman lately?
Not
Have you?
very often, no.
But he never forgot you, I bet.
Oh, I don't know
I
that.
bet he never forgot Virginia Mayo
So?
doing a screen test with Virginia Mayo coming to Hollywood. I never
She
knew
was his
that.
first leading lady.
Yes, but that's right.
He always says he hates that movie.
Silver Chalice
Yes,
is
he
a
hates
great movie. He looked beautiful in that.
I think
Oh,
so too.
he looks beautiful
He
in
hates that movie.
It's a great movie. I think it's a great movie.
He was so handsome.
Why
in
did
that.
he hate that movie?
I don't know. I
It's
have no
strange.
idea.
Hmm.
But he seems to like to play these tough, dirty guys, you know,
Uh-huh.
T-shirts, and he loves to get down in the gutter. you know.
Does he really? I never knew that.
A lot of his films. He likes
Did you know?
to play.
Did you know Paul? Do you know
No,
Paul?
I don't know him at all.
You know a lot of stars here in Hollywood.
Well, I know a lot
don't
of
you?
stars, but he doesn't really live in Hollywood. You know, he
No,
lives
he
in the
doesn't.
East.
He lives in the East.
Oh, does he
And he's
live?
very seldom here.
I didn't know Newman lived in. He lives in New York, does he? Back
Connecticut,
east somewhere.
I believe.
West Connecticut, I think.
Why does all the stars pick Connecticut? Why Connecticut? I know it's outside of New York, but why not New Jersey but why Connecticut? Virginia?
I don't know.
You never.
I've never lived
Well,
I know
it's
James
very-
Cagney. He lives up in New York
there.
State.
He has a ranch in New
A ra-
York State.
Yeah, it's lovely up there too. It's real lovely up there.
And when you're raising a family, it's probably better to live away from, the hustle and bustle of a big metropolitan city.
What do you think? What do you think of New York today, Virginia?
Awful.
You go there often, do you?
I avoid it if
Do you
possible.
really?
Oh, yes.
I think it's the greatest city in the world. It's exciting. It's just you like the quietness of San Fernando Valley.
I like the rural life. I hate cities.
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Oh, I see. And how about you, Lee?
Well, I don't like New York because it's dirty and it's sleazy, I find, when I go there.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. But you like L.A. though.
Well, I like L.A., indeed I do.
You don't think L.A. is sleazy or dirty or?
No,
Not the
it's
size
not.
we see.
It isn't.
No.
I see. I
It's
see.
livable.
I see. But Hollywood. But tell me what you think of the change in Hollywood. You've been here a long time. What's the change in Hollywood? What have you seen?
Well, it's changed a great deal, of
Like
course.
what? Like what, Lee?
Well, I've noticed even in covering the Hollywood scene, which is something I've been doing now for 24 years,
Right.
I've seen many changes. At the time I started, the Hollywood studios had their own very important publicity departments.
They did, didn't they? They did all their
And
publicity.
they worked very hard with members of the press. And now they don't. Each picture has its own unit publicist. And many times actors will have their own publicity man.
They do.
That never used to happen. The studio was behind you, and they made stars. Big,
Yeah,
they
you
made
have to
very
get your
well
own
there.
today. You have to get your own.
Right.
I think that's very unfair, don't you think?
I think
Yeah, it is. It's very unfair.
Yes.
Yeah, because the studio should handle it. They don't bill stars today, do
No,
they?
they don't do that.
They don't do that today.
Not anymore.
Bill.
No.
Bill stars. Why is that?
Well, I think with the fall of the great moguls, Santa,
Fall of the
Warner,
studios, the
there's
way
the
they-
fall of the studios.
Studio
Now they're run by
system is gone.
conglomerates.
So Hollywood has really changed, hasn't it, Virginia?
Greatly.
Sadly, though, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, because it's not.
I
It's,
thought it was much better back then for everybody. You know, it was a happy time because we had such fun making pictures. We were like big, happy families.
Yes, yes, yes.
The same actors would be in the films, and you had wonderful rapport.
Used to be ready for another one. When you're finished
you
with
were-
one, you're ready for another
ready
one,
for
right?
Another one. Nowadays, an actress can do a starring role and get good reviews, and then she waits 3 years to get another part.
We
You know,
have-
that's death to a career, especially a woman.
Yes, yes.
You know, because the age, they get older and older.
We have a great actress out there right now. I must tell you, I love her. I think she's great, and I think she's underestimated. Is Jessica Lange? I think she is. What do you think about
Well,
her
she
career?
got an Oscar.
Yeah, but
She's
a lot
not-
of people are not. She has an Oscar, but she's not noted as like Fonda or yet. You know, Jessica Lange is a great motion picture. She's like a Kim Stanley. Like Kim Stanley's unnoticed too. You know, what do you think about that, Kim Stanley? You know, people really don't. Kim Stanley is a great actress. She's not out there and working all the time. She's teaching.
Well, Jessica's very different, though.
Yeah,
Because she's much
new-
younger. And she has a new movie which she produced.
Now she's
called
got
Country.
Hunter. Yeah, it's coming out. Country,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah. Good. Anyway, I just want to plug her. I think she's a great actress, and I really want to thank you
Oh,
for
thank
coming
you.
on the show. The time
Nice
has gone
to
really
talk to you.
quickly.
Very
Thank you,
fast.
Virginia Mail.
Thank you,
Thank you. You're a
Skip.
real true movie star.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, Lee Graham.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Virginia Mail for coming here this evening, and I also want to thank Lee Graham. Thank you very much, both of you. And don't forget about Lee Graham's wonderful book. It's called Hollywood Studio Magazine. You can get that any stand, is that right?
Yes, but to clarify, now, I'm not the publisher. I'm only the Hollywood editor.
Editor.
My column runs in it,
Okay,
Man About Town.
Fine.
Right.
A Man About Town, Lee Graham. And lovely Virginia Mail. This is Skippy Lowe. We have really been looking at Hollywood today. Thank you.